Hello, welcome to Gurukul's CAT100 series, a series that's designed specifically to take you from your study room to the corporate boardroom. I am Prady and this is Verbal Mastery with Prady.
Alright guys, welcome to the video. Today's passage is this one, but don't worry, you don't have to see all this. What we'll do is we'll break this down into paragraphs. All I need you to do is after each paragraph, pause your video, okay? Make a mind map of it, basically summarize the paragraph into one line and then go forward to the second paragraph, okay? That way your reading comprehension, the understanding ability will develop, okay? So your first paragraph is this. Please pause the video here. Make a small one-line summary of this paragraph and then move forward. Right, so this is your second paragraph. Again, pause the video here. Make a one-line summary of this and then we'll move forward. Third paragraph, pause the video here. Make a one-line summary and then we'll move forward. Your fourth paragraph, pause the video here, make a one-line summary for this and then we'll move forward. Your fifth paragraph, pause the video here, make a one-line summary and then we'll move forward. Your sixth paragraph, pause the video here, make a one-line summary and then we'll move forward. Your last paragraph, pause the video here, make a one-line summary, and if you want to attempt the questions like a test, you can always log on to www.thegurukul.org.in and attempt this as a part of our 100 days test series. Now, I'll give you an opportunity to look at the questions beforehand in case you have not gone here and attempted it as a test. This is your first question. You can take 2 minutes, pause the video, and then we'll come back to the second question. Good. Now this is your second question. Again, you can take up to 2 minutes, pause the video, then we'll go for the third question. Great. This is your third question. Pause the video here, take 2 minutes to answer this question, then we'll go for the next question. The fourth question is here. Please pause the video for 2 minutes, solve this question, then we'll go for the fifth question. Right, so this is the last question of the passage. Pause the video here, solve this question, and then quickly we'll go together into the passage and we'll learn how to deal with this type of passages when they appear in the CAT 2025 exam. Alright then, so let's start off with the first paragraph and understand what's it telling us, what is being told to us. The passage says it's time to take note of the costs and benefits of nuclear tests. It's now established that India can produce nuclear warheads. So what do I already know? It's established that India can produce nuclear warheads. Great. And the means of delivering them up to a certain distance. Very good, very positive for us. With Chinese nuclear warheads deployed in Lhasa, do we need to know what this place is? Absolutely not. We just need to know that Chinese nuclear warheads are being deployed and they're being pointed at Indian targets. Right? So India has no option but to meet the nuclear blackmail of China. Blackmail of China, that means what? It's an undue force. Right? It's an undue force. We have to meet it with countervailing Indian nuclear deterrent. Now this might be a little confusing for people to understand. Countervailing, matlab kya hai? Muh tod jawab dena. Retaliate with equal force. Okay, countervailing means retaliate with equal force, right? So we have to retaliate with equal Indian nuclear force to deter China, to make it stop the blackmail, to make it stop pointing those nuclear warheads at us, right? So Indian agencies should push on. That means they should go ahead. They should push on with the plans to develop missiles which can deliver up to 15,000 kilometers. that should be adequate deterrent to all and shall discourage adventurism. Okay, another nice word, adventurism. Adventurism means those countries who are trying to take risks of provoking India, right? Right? So that risks should be curtailed, should be stopped, right? So Indian agencies should push on with the plans. They should go ahead with the plans to develop missiles which can deliver up to 15,000 kilometers, because that's a good enough area to cover, right? That should be adequate. That should be enough, a deterrent to all. That means it will stop people, it will stop everyone, okay? It will at least discourage everyone, okay? And it will discourage the adventurism, other people taking risks to try and attack us from any quarter, from anywhere in the world, right? So let's go on to the second paragraph. It's been China's obsession to prevent India from graduating. That means China has been trying to stop Indian nuclear force. China assiduously, with a lot of patience and perseverance, with a lot of effort, assiduously built Pakistan against India. That means China has held Pakistan against India, violating commitments under the agreements and against the spirit of non-proliferation measures. That means to build Pakistan against India, China has violated a lot of commitments. Under what? Under the non-proliferation measures. Okay, that means measures which say that you should not encourage, you should not try and make more and more nuclear weapons. Under such measures, like what? NPT, CTBT, FMCT, MTCR, although these sounds like medical technology and all, no, these are kind of treaties. These are non-proliferation treaties for nuclear technology. And then he says what? Conveniently, USA looked the other way. That means it turned a blind eye. उसने कोई भाव नहीं दिया, वो तो देखा ही नहीं. Conveniently, USA looked the other way and went out of the way to invent alibis. Alibis are necessary proofs. Okay, alibis, and enact legislation to help in the further building up of Pakistan. That means USA, who should have tried and talked to China, who should have persuaded China, who should have penalized China, it didn't do anything. It looked the other way. Okay. And it invented alibis. It was like, I have this person, I have that person, and they're saying that they haven't, really done anything to build Pakistan, but they've conveniently looked the other way, and that further built up Pakistan. China and USA did not endear themselves to thinking Indians. That means those thoughtful Indians who are there, right? Yes, China and USA did not endear themselves. That means they were not being very friendly. They were not being very open to these thoughtful Indians. Chalo, let's go to the next paragraph. May 1998 shall be remembered in history as the month which saw fundamental change in power equations in several areas. What does that mean? It means that maybe something that India has done in terms of its nuclear arsenal, in terms of its nuclear weaponry. Okay. So India has done something in terms of its nuclear weaponry, and that would be remembered because that changed the power equation, that changed how countries viewed nuclear weaponry, how certain countries had all the power about nuclear weaponry. This just changed. The change is not limited to nuclear weapons. It's not only about nuclear weapons. Till now exercised by the 5 powers. These 5 powers are those big 5 nations, the P5 nations, right? So it has upset the balance of power so carefully built by the sole remaining superpower and has made nonsense of USA's will and determination. That means whatever power, whatever balance of power, okay, that the US has thought that these 5 super nations have, this power balance has now shifted with India getting its own nuclear warheads, right? And so USA's will and determination, ability and pretension to establish and keep in place a world order. So USA was pretending. Okay, it was just fooling us by saying that they're keeping the world order, by just giving these 5 nations, these P5 nations, the power to have the nuclear weaponry. But India now did something that no one else did. India got its nuclear weapons, right? So which would ensure, among other things, continued maintenance of that monopoly. So now this has changed. Okay, the monopoly that USA thought it had over nuclear warheads. Monopoly. What is monopoly? Monopoly is where one person has all the power, right? Now, if we move forward, it has shattered the lingering vestiges of dominance in the nuclear field, which has been guarded so far by a carefully devised and controlled cartel. What is this cartel? Cartel is some kind of an organization which controls supplies of things, okay, by increasing prices. Yes, so it has shattered those lingering vestiges of dominance. That means what? It has shattered the remaining boundaries of dominance in the nuclear field, which was very guarded by a cartel. So this cartel is nothing but the USA and the P5 nations, right? So with two more Asiatic latecomers and a third knocking at the door. So who are these two more Asiatic latecomers? This is nothing but India and Pakistan. Right, so they are from Asia, so they are called as Asiatic latecomers, and a third knocking at the door and not even caring to seek admittance. If you want to know who they are, I won't name them, but you can very well think of them as the neighbors of South Korea, right? So that myth has been demolished. Right? What is the myth? That yes, you do need permission, you need external support for you to get these nuclear warheads. That myth has been taken off. Nothing that the five powers may agree upon, even with the support of several economic powers, Japan, Germany, Canada and Italy, shall revive or remake peace with the new actuality. That means the new reality that has come in. Okay, no one can actually say anything against that new reality. These people have come and they have come to stay. That realization has been most grudging and painful for the five. So for the P5 nations, that realization that these people now have nuclear warheads has been the most painful one, especially for USA, to establish the myth of nuclear superiority. The USA, who used to think that they are the most superior nation in terms of nuclear warfare, for them it's been even more harder. Why? Because the nuclear monopoly of the five has gone down. The five have no chance but to India should not be begging for recognition as a nuclear weapon state. So what does that mean? It means that India now does not need to beg for its recognition, for a stand as a nuclear weapon state. It has taken that stand itself when it made the nuclear warheads in 1998. The Prime Minister declaration meets the requirements adequately. We should leave the world alone and allow them reasonable time to reconcile themselves to the fact. That means we don't need to convince them of the fact. They have to convince themselves of the fact, and they'll take time to convince themselves, and our Prime Minister's declaration is more than enough for that. Right? Nor need we beg for a permanent seat of the UN Security Council. That means we don't need to go on and keep begging. That means we don't need to keep asking them for a permanent seat at the UN Security Council. If that status is due, the rest of the world shall see that. If that is for us, the rest of the world will give us that seat. Otherwise, they won't. Let us concentrate on building up our economic strength. So what should we be focusing on instead? We should focus on building up our economic strength. Yes, the world will then want to do business with us. That means they'll want to trade with us, and nothing much will be lost if they don't do business with us. That means even if they don't do business with us, it's okay for us, right? We are not dependent on others for anything basic. That means all our basic needs are being satisfied internally inside India only. Nor are we likely to be brought to our knees if they do not buy our products. That means nothing will happen to us even if they don't import things from us, right? Even if they don't buy our things, it's completely fine for us. India is a continental country. It's a really big country, a vast market, a people with enormous purchasing power. That means we actually have the resources for our own people to buy with our own money. Most of what we produce can be used within the country. Profits may be less considerable, but all proceeds shall remain within the country. Okay, maybe I won't get a lot of profits if I'm not importing or exporting to the other countries, but that's okay. Leaving profits aside, at least everything that I'm producing in my country is being used by my people, right? So everything shall and must be produced with indigenous technology. Indigenous, something that belongs to the native land. In this context, to India. So we should produce everything in India itself. Okay, we should exclude items of foreign manufacture which we can produce within the country. Whatever we can make inside the country, we don't need to take that from the other countries. Coke and Pepsi, Wimpy, McDonald's, KFC, imported soaps and toothpaste should be among the first to go. These things which are non-essential commodities, they should be stopped from being imported into our country. Non-essential imports should be stopped altogether. We should take care though that we do not violate agreements. That's okay. So it's okay for us to stop importing any non-essential thing as long as we don't violate any agreement, right? We stand in peace. We are doing nuclear weaponry for ourselves. We're not doing it to harm others, right? Now, we need not bother much whether Pakistan used wholly indigenous technology in building its nuclear devices and missiles. That means we don't need to bother if we got these missiles or if Pakistan has built all these missiles by themselves or someone helped Pakistan. There's neither need nor sign of nuclear arms race between India and Pakistan. That means we're not competing with Pakistan for nuclear technology, or we're not competing with Pakistan for the number of nuclear warheads that we'll have. It may be expected though that eventually both shall build adequate stocks of nuclear weapons, which are clearly the currency of power. So having nuclear weapons is like a currency of power. Okay, and eventually in due time, थोड़े दिनों में, okay, कुछ साल बाद, India and Pakistan both will have enough nuclear warheads. So there's no race. कोई race नहीं है यहाँ पे. Right? So I hope you've understood the passage. As I've already told you, if you understood the passage, you can go on to the website www.thegurukul.org.in and attempt this as a test. The link is in the bio given below. Okay? Now, let's go for the question number 1. What should India concentrate on according to the passage? मतलब क्या है? इंडिया को किस चीज पे concentrate करना चाहे? इंडिया देने में concentrate चाहिए वाली. Right. So building up its economic strength. Yes, this has been very clearly told in the passage. So this is a possible answer. Strengthening its armaments. Armaments means what? The missiles or nuclear warheads in this case, okay, are the armaments. Did he say that he should be strengthening this? No. He said that this will happen anyway. So this is not our answer. Building up friendly relations with China. भाई ये तो कहीं पे बोला ही नहीं है, इधर चप्पने ले दो. So this is definitely not the answer. Strengthening its nuclear power. No one has ever told that we need to strengthen nuclear power. In fact, it's told that it's not a race. Correct. So this also should not be your answer. So the only correct answer should be 1. Okay. Now let's go to second question. What, according to the passage, is an established fact about India? That means what has been told about India in the passage. Okay. India is not economically sound. No, this is exactly what is an opposite answer. Opposite of this has been mentioned in the passage. They've told that India is very economically sound and they have a vast market. Correct. India has been obstructed by China in its nuclear endeavors. Yes, this has been told to us in the first paragraph of the passage, right? Where it's mentioned that China is not letting India graduate. Correct. So this is a very possible answer. Now, India is now capable of producing nuclear warheads. Yes, this has exactly been told in the passage. So this should be a more suitable answer than the second one. Right? So I'll remove the second one and I'll consider third one to be my most suitable answer. India's nuclear capabilities are better than those of China's. There's no comparison that's been made in the passage about India's nuclear capabilities and China's nuclear capabilities. So the correct answer should be 3. Now, which of the following is a description of India as given in the passage? So, what has been described about India in the passage? India के बारे में passage में इन चारों में से क्या चीज बोला गया है? First one, India can violate agreements with other countries without any repercussions. No, it's been very clearly stated that we can do whatever we want as long as we don't violate the agreements. Correct? So this should be the wrong answer. India uses only indigenous materials to develop its nuclear arsenal. Has it been told that India uses only? No, it has been told that India should use only. मतलब इंडिया को यूज करना चाहिए, ना कि इंडिया ने यूज किया है. Right? So this also is not a correct answer. The market in India has excluded items of foreign manufacture. No. He's telling in fact that soaps, toothpaste, McDonald's, KFC, all these things should stop. Not that it has stopped. So this also is not a correct answer. The country is a vast market and people with enormous purchasing power. Obviously this has been told about India. So the correct answer should be 4. Now for the fourth question, what according to the passage meets India's needs to be recognized as a nuclear weapon state? India किस हक से nuclear weapon state बना हुआ है? Right? The enormous purchasing power. By this we understand that India has a very wide market, but it has nothing to do with it becoming a nuclear weapon state. Correct? So definitely 1 is not our correct answer. Second one, the number of missiles manufactured. Absolutely nowhere has it been told that the more number of missiles you have, you'll get a stature of being a nuclear weapon state. Correct? So definitely this also. The Prime Minister's declaration. Now this has been told to us in the passage that because of the Prime Minister's declaration meeting all the requirements, India is now a nuclear state. So this will be a correct answer. A seat in the UN Security Council. In the passage itself, he is saying that we should not be begging for the UN Security Council seat to be a nuclear power. Instead, we should be doing our own bit by building our own nuclear arsenal to become the nuclear power. Correct? So this won't be our correct answer. The right answer should be 3. The last question of the passage. Which of the following is true according to the passage? India should maintain a balance between its imports and exports. No. The passage says that stop all exports, stop all non-essential exports. Focus only on imports. Sorry, stop all non-essential imports, focus only on exports. Right? So this should not be our correct answer. Indians should stop using foreign products which can be manufactured indigenously. Yes, this is what's being told in the passage again and again. So this should be our correct answer. Now third one, all foreign goods should be rejected irrespective of how much they're required. No, again, he's saying that things that can be made in India, right, should be made in India. So this word, all foreign goods, is making this an extreme answer, and we should be careful about these kind of answers. So this will be a wrong answer. The fourth one, India should be concerned that Pakistan produced its missiles indigenously. Again, in the last paragraph of the passage, he's clearly telling us that we don't care if Pakistan has made it in their own country by their own technology or someone helped them. We don't care. It's not a race between us and Pakistan, right? So this should not be the correct answer. So the right answer will be 2. So how many questions did you get correct? Tell us in the comments.
You enjoyed learning from today's session.
This series is designed to help you with your CAT preparation and practice daily. We are with you in this journey.
To watch the next video, click here. And to watch Gurukul's CAT 100 series, study room to boardroom, the entire playlist, click here.
If you learned from today's session, like, share, and subscribe.